Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast. Anchor gives you everything you need in one place for free, which you can use right from your phone or computer. Creation tools allows you to record and edit your broadcast so it sounds great. And they even distribute your broadcast for you so that it can be heard everywhere. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. So make sure you download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Good Monday evening, everyone. This is the season finale of Future Educators Talk with Damian and Daren. I'm your co-host, Daren Frett, and this is the season finale of Future Educators Talk. This is our final episode of the season, but don't cry or don't you worry, because we will be back with season 2 in 2 weeks with co-host Damian Anderson coming back, as well as more topics to discuss. Now, many of you have been waiting patiently to talk about waiting patiently to figure out what will I be discuss in this episode that is a very important topic to talk about in today's society, which is the 2% of African American males that are teachers. That is the topic that I will be talking about tonight. So let's just dive right on in here. So according to an article by KPP.org, since 2014, ethnic and racial minorities make up more than half of the student population in U.S. public schools. And yet about 80% of teachers are white, and 77% of them are female. And people of African American are about 20%. And then 2%, that good old 2% are African American men. Let me say it again. 2% of African American male are teachers. That 2%. That's an itty bitty percentage. That is an itty bitty percentage. And we need to grow. We need to make that 2% higher to, I would say, 25%, a quarter, or to 50%. That's what we need to do. So this is the other reason why we created this podcast, is because of that 2%. We are trying to get not only to get middle schoolers and high schoolers to be interested in the education field, but we are trying to get students that are African American to be teachers, so that 2% can grow to about 25 to 50%. That is why we created this podcast. That is basically the third reason why we created this podcast. That 2%. That 2%. That's an itty bitty percentage. You know? here in the county that I'm at right now, there are no African American males that are teaching elementary level. None. You may see some teaching middle. You may see some teaching high school. For instance, Mr. Gumpton, Mr. Blacknall, and other African American males that are teachers in my county. That are teachers. Okay? I don't know how many teachers that are African American male in Tennessee, but I'm pretty sure it's like very itty bitty. Okay? Most student reading the article, most education experts agree that all students benefit from regular exposure to Black teachers, and when present in schools, they are often perceived as more approachable and most popular among students from all backgrounds. From all backgrounds. Still, the exceptional low number of Black male in American classrooms is not about winning popularity contests. This is not popularity. It's not about winning, I'm popular. No. It's not about winning popularity contests, Also, many experts assert that it's a matter of education equality, or the lack thereof. Most, without Black teachers in the classrooms to teach Black students, many negative factors come into play. I'm reading another article from blackenterprises.com. Many students are less apt to see college graduation. They are less prone to enroll in pre-AP or AP or gifted courses. They're expected to do less from those that do not look like them. Now, this is not only just African American males, that 2%, but also Hispanic as well. They're also 2% as well. So 2% is really low. Not for just African American males, but also Hispanic males as well. I feel like districts need to hire more African American male. That are certified. Because that 2%, that is small. That is very small. And, that needs to grow. Not only for African American males, but also Hispanic males. I was reading one article where or a tweet from Instagram where a Black African American male that is an educator, he is the first, and when I say the first, I mean the first. He is the only, he is the first African American assistant principal at his school. Let me say it again. He is the first African American assistant principal at his school. He is the very first. The very first. Mr. Norman. Mr. Norman is the only not only the only, but he is also the first African American assistant principal at his school. The only one. He is the first one. So he's making history at his school. You know? Mr. Wright. He is the principal of Bourne High School. The only one. He is the first one. If I'm not mistaken, he is the first African American principal in Franklin County, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but I do believe that Mr. Wright is the first African American male that is principal. And you know, that 2% needs to grow. Needs to grow. Yeah, that 2% needs to grow. For me, I want to become a, math teacher, right? So I want to be an elementary teacher because, again, in my county, there are no African American males that are teaching at an elementary level in my district. There are none. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, but there are none. So whenever I get my degree later down the road, I could make history later down the road. I don't know about Damian, but I'm sure he wants to teach, if I'm not mistaken, high school or middle school. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. But, we're just, again, I could be wrong, but I think that's what he wants to do, So, again, that 2% needs to grow to at least, I would say, at least a quarter. If not a quarter, about 10%. Either 10% or 25%, at least. Because that 2%, that needs to go higher. Back to the article, blackenterprises.com, more males need to be hired as the industry is composed of 23% males and a female. Actually, no, I'm not going to read that. So here's some solutions. Here's some before I go to that, there are about, this is in Illinois, so there are 575 black African American males that are elementary school teachers in Illinois, which is roughly 1%. This is in Illinois now, and the number who are Hispanic and male is even smaller, about approximately 465. Black African American students with African American teachers were suspended less often than African American students with white or Hispanic teachers. There are African American students are 3 times more likely to be assigned to gifted programs when taught by African American teacher than someone who isn't. Just having one African American teacher in early elementary grade, so in elementary school, to greater expression of interest in college by African American boys, and raise that proportion of African American students taking that college entrance exam by 10%. So just having one African American teacher in elementary school could lead to greater expression of interest in college. See, I didn't have no African American male when I was younger, when I was in elementary school. But I did have one when I was in middle school and in high school. But I didn't have no African American male. That is a teacher in elementary school. None. So I didn't really was interested in college until I would say my freshman year of high school. I wasn't really interested in college by my freshman year. My freshman year was the year that, hey, I'm interested in college. See, I know what I want to do, which was back in 8th grade. I knew what I wanted to do, which was back in 8th grade. 8th grade was the year, okay, this is what I want to do. And I'm going to go for it. I'm going to stick to it. There is nothing else that I want to do. Even though there are many people that say to me, oh, you could be a business, something in the business field, or something in the culinary area. But really I was interested in the education in 8th grade. 8th grade was the year. So eighth grade was the year. So, moving on now to solutions for recruiting more African American male teachers. So, number one thing, hire for elementary schools. Okay, not just for middle and high school, but also for elementary schools. Okay, not just for middle and high school, but but hire some for elementary, so that can increase that 2%. Okay. Hire millennial African American educators who can relate to students. Like me and Damian talked about in the couple episodes ago, where we know what it's like. We know, been there, done that. We can relate to them. We have something in common that we can talk about it. So, yeah. Increase teacher retention by ensuring teachers are heard by school administration administrators when addressing issues. So make sure that teachers are being heard by not only school administrators, but also the district personnel. Make sure your voice is being heard. You know? Because if you don't address the issue, nothing is going to happen. But if you address the issue, something will change. So it's good to talk about the issues not only to your school administrators, but also to the district personnel. You know, like I said, something needs to be changed of this 2%. This needs to be changed of this 2%. Like, it needs to go higher. It needs to go higher. You know? So, let's see. If I can find any more. Let's see how many. So, yeah. Something needs to be done to raise that 2%. Something needs to be done. Otherwise, we're just going to be stuck at that 2% and nothing's going to happen. So, something needs to be changed. So again, like I said earlier, this is kind of like the main reason why we created this podcast, because of that 2%. Because of that 2%. Because of that 2%. We need to raise that 2%. Not only for African American males, but also for Hispanic as well. Hispanic men as well. So, you know, that's why we're kind of talk about it right now, because something needs to be done. I don't know how many African American males that are teachers in each state. I do not know, but I'm pretty sure there are some African American males that are teachers in some states, or in all of the states. Like I said, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure there are probably about, I would say, 10 in each state. I would say. Again, I could be wrong. So it's important to raise that 2%, you know. It's important to raise that 2%. So, you know, like I think somebody, my friends asked me, like, teachers don't get paid much. I'm like, really? To be honest, I really don't care about the money. I care about the kids / students. So I really don't care about the money. Like, this is what I love to do. This is, this is my calling. So I really don't care about the money. Like, I really don't care. All I care about is the students. That's what I'm caring about. That's what I'm caring about. I don't care about the money. I don't care about the money. I don't care. I'm here for the students. That is my calling. Teaching / helping people is my calling. This is what I love to do, and I'm going to stick to it. Nothing's going to change. Nothing else. Like you can't convince me to change change majors or trying to make me do something else, but I would 100% guarantee that education / teaching will be my number one major / something that I want to do. So this is what I want to do. So yeah. That is all for the season finale. Here's the question of the day. For one last time before the season 2 premiere. The question of the day is, what can districts do to raise that 2% of African American males and Hispanic males as well, or African American men and Hispanic men? What can districts do? So that's the question of the day. You can respond to the question of the day by using the hashtag Future Educators Talk on Twitter and on Instagram. Like I said, this is it. This is the end of season 1 of Future Educators Talk. It has been a long journey, even though we started this podcast back in August 5th. We have grown to new ways. We have grown with new logos. We have grown with new ways to listen to podcast. To share our episodes, not only on Anchor.fm, but also to other platforms as well that you can listen to like Spotify, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts. So, like earlier, when we first started, you can only hear us on Anchor.fm and on Spotify. Now we got many platforms that you can listen to us. And starting next season, we're doing things bigger and better. One of the things that we are planning to do is to do an Instagram Live to recap on the topics that we discuss, or also to go more into depth of the topics that we talk about. So I'm so excited for that. Also, not only the platforms, but also the logos as well. We have grown with just a simple logo to now logos that myself and Damian like as well. And also we have created logos that that support each awareness or / month, like the logos that you are seeing on social media, on our social media pages. Like, we're supporting breast cancer awareness, because this month is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And in 2 episodes ago, 2 episodes ago, I talked about bullying as well, because this month is also National Bullying Prevention Month, and I talked about bullying 2 episodes ago. So we have created more ways to support the what's the word I'm looking for? The awareness. And we are planning to continue doing that for the next season. Guests. We'd like to thank every single guest that was on our show, on our broadcast. We would like to thank you for taking the time out of your day to join us to talk about the issues at hand. So we like to thank you for that. We hope that you come back maybe in the next season or 2 to talk about it on a different to talk on a different topic that we discuss. So we'd like to thank all the guests that was on our show. Also, we have a guest co-host coming next month. We have created that form that is now on our social media pages, as well as the guest form as well. If you want to be a guest on our show, or if you want to be a guest co-host on our show, that link is now available on our social media pages. That form is due next week at 11:59 p.m. Eastern. And we will make the announcement on Friday, October 25th. So make sure you stay tuned to our social media pages. So it's very important to follow us on our social media pages, because you never know what's happening to this podcast. We have guests on our show, from being guests on our show to being a guest moderator on our show, which I will talk about in just a little bit. Then from guest moderator to being to have more guests on our show. On top of that, have a guest co-host on our show, and then go on Instagram Live to talk about more, to go more in depth on the topics that we discuss. So there is a whole lot of new things that is happening to this podcast. So it's very, very important to follow this podcast on all social media, Facebook, Twitter, and on Instagram, because you never know what's happening. Okay. Tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern, yours truly, Daren Frett, or I like to go by Andrew. I will be the guest moderator for hashtag BME's S Talk Twitter chat tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, where I will be discussing classroom management. The topic is classroom management. So make sure you hop on Twitter at 9 o'clock and join in the conversation. So make sure you join in the chat. Looking forward to learn different things so that I can be ready once I become a teacher. Okay. Damian Anderson. He will be back on the season 2 premiere, which on October 28th. So he will be back fully ready to go. On that day, we will talk about parent involvement and the classroom size. So make sure you tune in on October 28th. Also, starting October 28th, new episodes will come out every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So make sure, so new episodes coming out every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So, yep. And then starting Wednesday, October 30th, we'd like to welcome Strip the Podcast by co-hosts Michael C. Bryan and Jennifer Ho. They just started their podcast. Their brand new episodes of that podcast will coming out every Wednesday. So as soon as we drop, as soon as this brand new podcast drops on Wednesday, make sure you head on over to Strip the Podcast to listen their latest episode as well. So yes, that is going to be it for me. I will see y'all again. I will hear y'all again in 2 weeks with the season 2 premiere of Future Educators Talk. Make sure you follow Future Educators Talk in all social medias, on Facebook and on Instagram at Future Educators Talk, on Twitter at Future EDU Talk. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel at Future Educators Talk with Damian and Daren, and make sure you give the video a big old thumbs up, and make sure you tap that bell so that you'll be notified when a brand new podcast episode is coming out. So make sure you hit that subscribe and that bell to be notified. Also, you can follow me on Instagram at Daren Frett, and on Twitter at Daren_Frett. Yes, I fret a lot. Also, you can follow co-host Damian Anderson as well at on Twitter at _Damian Anderson, and on Instagram at the Damian Anderson. I mean, he's the one and only Damian Anderson. So, like I said, that is going to do it for me. I am your co-host, Daren Frett, and I will see y'all on the season 2 premiere of Future Educators Talk on Monday, October 28th.